Hey everyone, this is Larry here at LC Model Shipbuilding, and this video we're going to be doing the China 3D funnels. So, pretty straightforward video, but I do get the ladders assembled on them, and we end up basically with them all black. And at the beginning here I'm doing some painting with the lifeboats and a lot of the other China 3D parts, just because they're light pink and they take a while to get covered, so it takes many coats to do it. So I start off the video with that, and then we move into the funnels. So taking them off the sprue, doing the ladders going up along the steam vents or steam pipes, and the platform that goes around them. So thank you very much for watching, and let's get started. Okay, so what I'm doing as I'm working on painting is just shooting more coats onto the lifeboats, the vents. I got the lifeboat davits to do, so these take a fair amount of paint to cover, and these were the pink ones, so I actually painted them dark gray primer before I ended up doing the white, along with the grand staircase housing and all that. So what I'm going to be doing is, in between work on the funnels, I'm going to be just shooting additional coats of paint onto these to get them to the color that I need them to be. Some are getting closer, like this is fairly close, and I won't be able to get this perfect until I actually take it off the sprue for use, but I want to try to get at least the undercoats of the boats done before I take them off the sprue, and then the top will be the gray canvas, and then the rest of these I'll just get coated up before we get ready to actually take them off the sprue to use. So I just kind of wanted to cover that as we're going here. Okay, so here we go with the funnels. Now, what happens with these? Obviously, they're pretty much all one piece, but you can see they still have sprue on them. You got the bottom here, and you got the main funnel here. They do have the whistles already attached, which is great. China 3D does offer these whistles also, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep the ones that are on here. I got to take one of these off and actually look at it and see if they're any more detailed. Looks like they're pretty much the same thing though, or very darn close. So personally, I'd rather just not unattach something just for the sake of unattaching it, and then you know, having to glue something else on. So what we're gonna do, first we're gonna cut the sprue off, and then we're going to paint these black first, because I want to do the insides black. And I want black basically as a base coat for the White Star buff. So for my White Star buff, I'm using this British Sand Yellow Modern. When it dries, it comes in at this color, so I think that'll be pretty close, and going up against black, it looks pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the color I'm using. But first thing we're going to do, I'm just letting my heat knife warm up, and we're just about there. So I am looking at the directions because it has the piping on here, which is great. The pipes already exist molded in on the China 3D. The one thing that we don't have on the China 3D that we have to use from the kit PE is the ladders. So we're going to put the ladders together in this video. We're going to get them glued on, and then we're going to get it painted up. So basically, I want to try to have my funnels pretty well ready to go so that I can put them right onto the ship as soon as that deck is ready to put down. So just still waiting on deck chairs to finish up B deck, and once they come, I can get B deck's chairs finished, and then I can get A deck glued down and move on in life. So I'm also using Woody's rigging brackets and rigging for the funnels. So that's these right here, and essentially they will glue on right in these spots here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on each side, so a total of 12 for each one. So yeah, that's a lot. So I want to get them on too before probably painting, I think, but I will figure that out as I go, because I think it'll be harder to tape it off once they're on here. But yeah, I'll kind of figure that out here shortly. So I think this is just about ready to go here with the heat knife. So we're going to start doing some cutaway here, and especially with this piping, I just want to be really careful with it. I really don't want to break them and have them fly off into oblivion. So I'm just gonna kind of go at it nice and slow and careful. Now these sprue here, they're a little bit more robust, but I don't want to risk just cutting. Okay, now this one here, you can see the pipe kind of comes down and lets out, so that's going to be just something to be cautious of once I cut away this sprue, because that's one easy piece to break. Okay, and I'm just going to actually cut the sprue itself away. It's pretty much separated. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I could actually just cut that with my nippers, but I don't think I'm even going to risk it. I'd rather just use the heat knife. Oh, and there's piping underneath there too, so I'm actually kind of glad I didn't just break it with the nipper. Okay, and you can see once it gets up to temp, this basically cuts pretty easy. I actually thought these were going to be a lot worse. For some reason, I was thinking they had interior sprues in them, but they don't. So makes life a little bit happier for me. Now I gotta be real cautious of that pipe on the back side there, that I don't break that off here. So what I'm gonna try to do here is just cut down this steam whistle. And I know the newer funnels are a little bit less brittle than the older pink ones like I'm using right now. So when you get your funnels, if you choose to go this route, they are a little bit more flexible. So there's just very intricate piping all the way through on this. I'm going to break that piece off just to get it out of the way. And really the only thing holding it on now at this point is this little section right down here. So we'll get that cut. That pipe goes down beyond that. So I need to cut those little supports there. Yeah, it goes right down. Okay. So now we got that separated. And the only thing that seems to be left is what's back here holding these pipes on. And then once I get this off, there we go. I'm just going to run the knife right along the edge here to get the residue of the sprue off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other ones. I'll hit this with a file too, just along here to make sure it's nice and flat, because there is a potential for light bleed also, with the fact that there's a hole coming up for the air to go into. So I'm going to cut the other two, the fourth funnel and the second funnel, and then I'll do the third one again on video because of all of these little intricate pipes here. So I'm going to get these two cut out quick, and then we'll be back. Okay, so here we go. I got these three done, pretty much ready for paint. That one I did break a whistle and had to use part of another one, but there it is, because I don't know where the original one went, but you can't really tell, so I'm good. So this one is going to be a little bit more complex, a lot more piping, but I want to start with the whistle pipe, only because it's right on the front there, and I don't want to worry about that popping off on me. Okay. And really the secret, like I said before, is just kind of, you go slow, but don't go like unnaturally slow either. Because if you go too slow, I could see easily making mistakes. Wow, I almost grabbed the knife, like the metal part, that would have hurt bad. And what I'm going to do is cut away the front portion first, and then come back to all of the other little pipes that are on the back half there. So this one has a pipe that goes down there. I'm just going to cut the supporting sprue off so I can see. Okay, that's the support. It gets hard to tell what is support with these pipes and what is part of the system. Okay, so now we get back here. And there's a whole lot of piping. But what I'm going to do is snap that off so that I'm only dealing with the actual piping parts. What I found is as you make it smaller, it's just a little bit easier to deal with. Okay. Now these pipes are down a little bit, so you don't want to cut straight or you'll cut your pipe off. And you can see there's little joint pieces back here where it connects to the pipes that go back to the engine housing. That little building, it has the skylights in it. Now, China 3D, as far as I'm aware, has not yet released those pipes, so I'm going to have to use the kit pipes and kind of marry them to this. But I should be okay. and they are funnel color, I believe, all the way to the joint, but I want to double check that, and I'll check Honor and Glory for that. Just can't remember. Now something's still hanging here. It might be the interior sprues here. So we're just going to kind of slowly knock away the interior supports. And I broke a piece of pipe. So I'm going to have to go down and find that in a second. Okay, that one's clear. It's not hard to break this stuff either, so you can see I just broke that little piece of pipe off. So I'm going to go down and find that quick and get that glued back on there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I found my piece right here. I'm going to just get a touch of CA glue on it, and we're just going to pop that right back on there, right where it came from. Usually I would use accelerator. Actually, I think I will still, yeah. Okay, we're good. So now I just need to trim along the base here a little bit, get that stuff off, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my black paint and spray these down. The other thing, talking to the guys at China 3D, if you're using the pink stuff, if you're painting white or a light color, they do tend to show through. So I've been kind of painting everything with either multiple layers of primer in gray if it's white, or if it's not white, I've been doing a black. The lifeboats I actually did do in gray just because I thought that might help to get the effect of the slats on the side of the boat. Speaking of which, after I do the coat of black on these, I need to give another coat of white to all that stuff. And I thought about doing the mast in this video too, but I'm not going to. I haven't posted in a little while because I've been working really hard on getting the electronics completed, and that's been time consuming, but I'm a little bit stuck for parts with that for a couple days, so I figured I might as well go on and do this and at least get a video out again, because it's been a minute. Alright, so let me just wipe this down, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to do some black paint. So I will be back. Okay, so here we go with the ladders. So I'm going to do one, maybe two on the video. We'll see how this goes. So you have to use the Trumpeter kit supplied ladder, but then KA does the platform, and then they are different lengths also, so that's exciting. So essentially the straight parts here come up here, and then they bend out, and then this runs its way down which is good because it does protect the steam pipe. And then there is a bend back like that, essentially, so it kind of tucks its way down on there. Now the ladder itself basically does one of these type deals for the bend. And I want to try to get them so that looking down, they're the same angle. Okay, that looks good. A bit far. Okay. And that's pretty good. Okay, so that essentially then will be like that. Now the platform is then KA part, and that that is these here. So essentially what has to happen here is a complete bend back like that. The pictures I saw, it should go pretty much straight back here. And then that comes down like that. So essentially, they then glue to the funnel. Like that. That seems about right. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend these up first before we start the fun of doing this. Oh, that makes sense. How I bent it the first time, it worked, but what I just found was better. And it makes it the same length. Okay, so I gotta see if I can fix that or not. Ooh, I don't know if I can. I'll have to play with that one. I'll do that off camera. So essentially you bend down, then you bend sideways. And the directions for this from KA are not the best. They literally are a picture of it sitting there on the funnel. So yeah. Okay. That one came out nice. So it's only that first one that I don't like. And then the ladders for, or these here are just the not ladders, but railings for it. Go down, go back. Yeah, I wish I would have figured that out with the first one. But I think I can fix it. might have actually worked. Just pulling it a little bit. I think so. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bend these ladders down also before I start gluing any of them. I just want to have it all pretty much set and ready to go. And so far, I'm not even going to jinx it because I've heard enough stories about these. So yeah, we're just going to say so far. That's all. I just wish the KA directions were a little bit clearer also, because they neglect to mention that you need to use the kit supplied ladders. So I spent a fair amount of time searching for ladders that don't exist. Uh-oh, we're bent. Now the good thing is too that to shorten this, once I start figuring out the actual height that it needs to be, all I got to do is cut some rungs off, so that won't be a big deal. Okay, I'll do the last one, and then I'm gonna get some glue out and get it ready to go. I'll take a quick little break here before I start gluing these on. Now the other thing I started thinking about, I was looking at the funnel stays, like the rigging brackets for it, and I'm going to hold on them until I'm actually putting the funnel stays on, because I don't want to gum it up with paint. So I would sooner glue them on after, and then what do you call it, hit it with dull coat afterwards. So we're not going to put the funnel stays or the brackets on, because there's top ones that go on and bottom ones here. So these are the funnel stays, and then these are the brackets that ropes would go on to paint the funnels. So yeah. All right, let me take a quick little break and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the first three done. There is definitely a learning curve to this, so you can kind of see how they look here. I'm pretty happy with them. They are quite intricate to do, but the results are quite amazing. So I figured I'd show the demonstration of this with funnel number 4, because it doesn't have any piping on it, so I figured that might be the easier of the 4 to deal with. Okay, so first up, what we're going to do is take our platform, if I can get it with the tweezer, and we're going to dip it in our CA. So just basically not do that. Okay, now I want the platform to be right about where that line is on the funnel, and I'm just going to kind of give it pressure to hold it, because I know that the stanchions aren't going to probably attach this first time around, but we'll get them here in a second. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I have a tiny bit of glue. It was kind of puddled there on the back, so I'm just kind of moving that around, and I'm going to put a little underneath just to support. Okay, so there we go, we're on, and she's fairly solid. So now what we got to do is get just a little bit of glue on the stanchions, and what I've been doing is a little puddle, kind of like I just did. And I hate doing that because it does potentially show through paint, but if I get it pretty thin on there, we should be alright. So I'm basically going to just hold it against the funnel, and then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of accelerator. And it should do. Okay, now this side we're going to basically do the same thing. I don't think I had one stanchion that actually went right up against it like it was supposed to right off the bat, so I found this to be fairly normal. That middle one actually did, which is kind of a surprise. Hopefully you can see there. Okay, there we go. That's solid. Now, the first time around, with these little railings here, I left the back on there and I had to pull it back off because I looked at the picture and it shouldn't be there, and it was causing it not to land where it's supposed to. But I do leave just a tiny bit of the rail there. So what we're going to do is just about 1/8 of an inch past I start the bend, but I try to keep this bend very, very curved because I want it to follow the platform. That should be about right, so you can kind of see the shape there, hopefully. Yeah, you can see it. Alright, so then we're going to dip in the back there where those pieces are that we cut. Come on. So we're going to dip right there. My glue's drying, that's part of the problem. Okay, so we're going to dip right there and dip on the bottom. And then we're just going to kind of pop it on there so that the bottom is essentially right on the platform. And you got to work it over a little bit, kind of move it around a little until we get it exactly where we want it. Okay, so I got the back there. I think I'll hit it with some accelerator. And then what we have to do on the front is just run a little bit of glue along the edge here. And then I bring the tweezer down and kind of hold it into place just to get it where we want it. And that railing should be just under the funnel lip there, because they will be, the tops of the rails, actually the whole rail and platform will be White Star buff. So that one's on. And we gotta do the other one. And same thing with the bend, just subtly bring it around. But it does go like a full 90, so you have to make sure you get enough of a bend out of it. Okay. Now, the top of the rail is just slightly thicker, so that's how I've been identifying it. That was lucky, it landed on the right side. That one landed almost dead perfect right off the bat. Just want to get that back one to attach to the funnel. Well, it was attached. I pulled it with the tweezer. Actually, I think we're okay, because the railing will actually... no, I don't like that. Toothpick. You will definitely go through toothpicks on this part of the project too. Here we go. That's better. Okay, now I just want to make sure my shape is right and that rail is straight and perpendicular to the steam tube. That's pretty good. And it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, I don't think, because the ladder actually kind of holds it in place here in a second. But yeah, pretty happy there. Okay, so the ladder. Now you have to take off the top rungs because they weren't there. I verified that in pictures too. Now about probably, call it this far up, I start the bend. And it has to be a pretty substantial bend. Okay. I also have found that these have to be a little bit more of a sharp bend, just as I've been going. So, from here, this I thought was going to be a whole lot worse than what it has been so far anyway. Of course I'm on video now, so I'll screw it up, but you know, there's that. So what I've been doing is just take some CA right along the rung, along the base of the platform, and then on the other, not rung, but top of the handrail here. And then we bring this on, and you want the rungs to go right up to the whistle, essentially. So we get that on and basically just drop it on. and then I'm letting it sit for a couple seconds here just to set. If you really want, you can hit it with some accelerator. I did on some of them. I'm not on this one because it seems to be setting on its own pretty fine. Now, the funnels are actually different heights by very small amount. Like, even the real ones were off by about, not off, but they were basically about a foot difference on a couple of them. I remember seeing the exact measurements at some point, but I don't have them off the top of my head, but I know they were different heights. So why that's important is down here, that's going to need trimmed just a tiny bit. Otherwise it'll be dragging on the ground. And we don't want that. So here you can kind of see I'm just getting a tiny bit of glue, just a tiny bit on the funnel, and then I'm kind of just working it over into that rail. Oh, there we go. Now, these just basically get the same thing happening to them. Just a tiny touch of glue. Get it where you need it so that it's centered. Work it over. And you could use accelerator here if you want. I have on some of them. Depends on the situation I was running into. Okay. It's a little bit more glue than I wanted. So I'm going to try to get some of that excess off without making a mess. Okay. And you can see then we're pretty darn straight coming down the pipe there. So I feel pretty happy with that. Just going to bump that back a touch. Put some glue down on it. Push it back in a touch. Spread our glue on it. Okay. And finally, so these are extremely delicate. Once they're set, I don't recommend touching this a whole heck of a lot. Okay, so there we go. We got our bend up here, and then I'm going to take off the last rung essentially. So just like that. So there we go. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and spray these black, and then I'll probably end this video. I'm not going to do the, I don't know if I'm going to do the buff tonight or not. We'll see. I kind of want to let them dry overnight, but yeah, pretty darn happy. I might put them on the ship just for the heck of it, because there is a old famous picture of Titanic with black funnels, which basically would have been our primer, but we'll see. So anyway, be right back. Okay, so there we go. They are black. They're still drying, so I'm not handling them yet. I'm going to let them sit overnight, but we've got the insides. Obviously, I'll have to paint where the popsicle stick is holding it, but pretty happy. They definitely pop the detail quite a bit more once they have the once they have some paint on them, so they really look good. So very happy. That's going to wrap up the video, because next video we will obviously let these dry, and then we'll get them painted, and probably do the mast in the next video as well. So thank you very much for watching. Please give a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time here on LC Model Shipbuilding.